Okay, we are ready.
Welcome, everyone, to the Global Healing Miracle Call today, January 25th, 2026. My name is Jerem Egan, and I am so honored to be here with you all today. And we would love to know where you all are from. What part of the world are you joining us from? And if you would put that in the chat, we'd appreciate it. I'm going to just look here for a second. Okay. Um, I don't know about you all, but uh, I'm in Beaverton, Oregon, and we had about 25 degrees here this morning, Fahrenheit, which is very chilly for this part of the world. And I'm grateful to have a good heating system in my home here. Okay, we have Olympia, Washington, Luke. Hi, Luke and Susan and Joseph from Shoreline, and Brett from Colorado Springs, and Libby from Montana. Katie from Libby, Montana. Okay. And Stephen Wexler. Wow. Hi, Dr. Steve from snowy New York. And Bridget from snowy Ithaca. Bridget is our wonderful uh, person who transcribes all the chats. So glad to have you all here. So, without further ado, Robin, if you could put the disclaimer, was that Robin or Rodell? I'm trying to remember. Okay, here we go. So, just a reminder that we bring you information that is geared toward helping with wellness. We're not here to prescribe or to do anything that is in the realm of a medical practitioner. So we just ask you to utilize the information the best way you can with that awareness. And thank you for that, Rodell. Okay. And next we have our dear Katie from Libby, Montana, giving us the announcements for today.
Good morning, afternoon, evening. So, my daughter's name is Lily, and people get very confused about Lily and Libby, and Libby's and Lily, and Lily's and Libby. And it's like, who's on third? Um, so we have a new miracle experiment game coming up starting February 7th, and there is $50 off early bird special uh, until January 31st. So you've got some time, and that discount code is somewhere. It's in the email newsletter. It's MEG early bird. And if you just happen to be in Rome, Renara is doing a concert in Rome for the benefit of the children in Nepal. And it's called Love is the Bridge Between You and Everything. And there's a link to that in the email also. And Dr. Clint is going to be the keynote speaker at the Conscious Life Expo workshop in Los Angeles on February 20th, if you can make it there. There's a link in the email to vote for the book award nomination. And I mean, I don't know, you might want to vote for Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer. There are other options too. So, but there is a link there for that. And our Ancient Secrets family reunion is coming up from June 1st through the 5th in Ashland, Oregon. And just a little plug once again for our art and creativity time that will be happening February 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And we ask for a $5 minimum donation that does go to the children. And it's really fun. So I hope you can join us for that. I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Katie. Great. So, always lots of good things going on in our Ancient Secrets community. So, with that being said, I'd like to speak the quote of the day. And Rodell, could you bring up the quote for us, please? So this is a quote from our dear Dr. Pankaj Naram. 90% of our problems come from emotional wounds or trauma from childhood. And um, one thing that I sort of tuned in on with that quote was that I kind of felt that you could expand that to problems being physical and otherwise. So I'm hoping Vinay is in alignment with that. Would you say that, Vinay? Would that it's you can expand that to other problems as well as physical?
Yeah, thank you so much. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. And it's always a pleasure to be with the family. So there is one beautiful sentence by the in the Harry Potter movie. I like such type of movies. So in the first part, Harry Potter at the end, he always says, "I'm not going to home. I'm going away from home." So this is like that. I'm always waiting for the Sunday to meet all the family members. So it's a great part. And this is a quote beautifully Dr. Ram said, and he always used to say, whenever people who have seen him on the television show also, and many speeches, Dr. Ram always used to say that 90% the emotional trauma, the we as a human being, we are habit of having that we keep all the emotions within our heart. We never let it go. And it happens that it not only affect us on the physically, Dr. always says, because of these things, we go through the so many health challenges, not only on the physical level, but also on the emotional level, subconscious level, and many other things. We have the Dr. Steve on this call, so he knows better about this part. And Dr. Giovanni also spoke last time also about the same thing. And the best part of Dr. Am always used to say, and the person who is going to show the marma. And whenever I speak to the client, I always share this marma of the let go marma by pressing here on the left hand side. And those who are sharing the marma, I request them please show it again. By doing these things, it is important that we release our emotions. We release our all the trauma what we have kept for the so many years. My spiritual master always used to say, His Holiness Hari Prasad Swamiji, and now current His Holiness Prabodh Swamiji Maharaj, he always says that we should have someone in our life with whom we can share without any fear and whatever the emotions, whatever the problems we have. Because if we'll not find the solution, then this trauma will stay forever and it will be like a toxin. It will stick to our heart. It will stick to ourselves and we're not able to let go about these things. So my humble request to everyone, please have someone in your life with you, with whom you can share. In my life, I have done these things that Dr. Ram used to be my father also. He played a different role in my life. So whenever I used to have any problem, I always said that I would like to speak with him. So after completing our day at around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the night, he used to sit with me like a father and he asked me what your situation. And I used to share with me. The best part is that the next day I can able to work more effectively with more strength and with a positiveness. By releasing our emotions and the trauma, we get more positive. We come from the situation or the possibility of the I can do it. Like Dr. Am always says, when you consider yourself, you are young, you come up with the possibility of that I can do it. This way, if we release our emotions, and if we see, Dr. Am always used to say, in the world, nowadays, there are zero emotional bank balance. Now, who will help us to get all these things? The best way You can share with your friend or nearby. And by doing this marma, just letting go. We don't want to be the owner. We have to release that part because we also have this beautiful family. This is our family, and we want to be with them so helpful, and we can able to help others only when we are held properly. So my humble request to everyone, please release your emotions. Please keep someone in your life with whom you can share. If not, then at least do this, Marma. If not, I am always there. Please contact me. We'll speak either on the call or on the Zoom call, either way. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, dear Vinay. Such beautiful words of wisdom. When you mentioned the forgive and let go, Marma, or forgive and forget, different names for different people. When I first learned it, maybe 4 years ago in our 100-day class, I was amazed. I have what I notice in my own awareness. I call them cringe moments. I'll be going through my day and I'll remember something I said or something I did that I didn't feel good about. And when I first learned that marma, um, it was amazing. I basically worked with about 8 of those moments that came up for me that day, and it was like they were mostly gone. I was stunned how effective it was. So maybe Cornelia, could you demonstrate the forgive and let go, Marma?
Forgive and let go, Mama, is the left hand. So you want to really keep your fingers straight so you're not kind of bending them. So you want to keep it straight so you can really access that fleshy part between the thumb and the index finger and just find that space. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's a little bit further in, wherever you kind of feel a little pain sometimes. And that is where you press 6 times. And there are different words you can say. You can say, I forgive and I forget, or I forgive and I let go. And for some of the things, we might know what it is that we want to forgive. Then you can kind of put that into a red frame over your left eye while you are pressing that. So, for example, you have someone that has kind of still hold some things that you need to forget. You can put that person into that frame. But sometimes we don't actually know what it is. We just know that there's something that might hold us back. And I then use that phrase, whatever it is that's in the way of me moving on, I let go and I forgive, or I've let go and I accept. So, whatever is the right wording for you, that is what I'm using. And then there is not necessarily something that you could put into the frame, but it is not necessary that you know what it is that you need to let go if it's just kind of a feeling that something is in the way of you moving on. So that let's do that now together. And for that one, I always like to do it 6 times 6. So let's go and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I forgive and I let go. 3, 4, 5, 6. I forgive and I accept. 5, 6. I let go and I accept. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I forgive and I let go. 6. I forgive and I let go. 6. And I forget and I let go. Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Cornelia. Yes, it's a powerful mantra. Let's take a moment and just one of our usual practices in the Ancient Secrets calls is to take a moment to gently, silently drop in from our heads to our hearts being the smartest part of us, if you will. Okay, if you would just close your eyes for a moment and take a nice, slow, easy, deep breath in. And I love this poem by a dear friend who passed away some years ago, Michael Bratnick, which is called Third Thing. As the mantle of silence descends amid the din, I remember my past, the way a meadow at midday remembers the mists of morning. The hand of my being rests softly on my head, and all I meet. I am between then, a foot to either side. So all I am and all I was, all I cherish and all I push away are one. In stillness, I lift and drop. I become an up-down, high-low thing, and I know the song that opposites hum to each other. I join in, pitch tone perfect at last. And in that quiet space, just allow the idea that children, until the age of 8, are primarily in a delta brainwave state. Everything in their environment enters unfiltered into the consciousness and is installed as truth. Allow yourself to feel any of those false truths in this moment. We were innocent. We had moments where we felt wounded. Where we were in terror. And these are, when they surface in our present day awareness, opportunities to experience them and to call them what they are and then release them, as we do with forgive and let go. And it doesn't mean that we have to like that person or reconnect. It just means that we have the intention to bring love to that particular moment. that we experienced, love to ourselves, love to that terrified young being, to that being who experienced that trauma, those harsh words. Love to the self helps us to remember ourselves, to call back into our totality, the wholeness, the fullness of who we are. After all, healing is about wholeness. And slowly come back now to your present moment in the room you are in. And I'd like to read a section from a book by Gary Zukav called Seed of the Soul, one of my all-time favorite books, where he says, honor emotional cleansing. If you are emotionally blocked and you cannot, or you do not know what you feel, or if you have blocked what you feel so effectively that you become emotionless, you become a negative person. And you also create a physically diseased body. By keeping your emotions clear, emotional negativity does not reside in you, and you become lighter and lighter. This opens your intuitive track because it allows you a clear sense of loving, where we can return to the state of being unbroken, unbroken and harmonious within ourselves. I've heard it said by one of my mentors that the unconscious stores about 1 million times the data as our conscious mind. Our conscious mind is like a slow computer that cannot track all the information that our unconscious, subconscious can track. It's like we have a 24/7 video of our lives going all the time, storing all this information that's way too much for the conscious mind to track or deal with. So this is where these opportunities, when we feel these emotional challenges, are an amazing medicine for us, using things like marmas, vibrational medicine. One of the things I have used extensively in my practice is a practice called EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques. And the creator of EFT has just passed away last week. I honor him greatly. Gary Craig brought many, many gifts to the world. And these vibrational techniques, one of the important things that I find, which I think is the same as using the forgive and let go marma, is that it helps to bring our brain waves into an alpha state, a state where where our subconscious becomes easy to access and easy to reprogram. Hard to do in the beta state when we're fully awake. So in that state, the catchphrase of EFT is, even though I have this difficult emotion, whatever it might be, or experience or incident, I deeply and completely accept myself. And you're doing this while tapping brings that information directly into the subconscious, into the database that does not get accessed when we're in the awake state. Same thing happens with hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy takes us into that alpha state, and when you have a practitioner who is really aligned with the heart, amazing things can happen. One of the experiences that really got my attention when I was studying hypnotherapy in the 70s. This was a time when people still smoked a lot of cigarettes. And our teacher was a very brilliant man from Cuba. And he talked about, they did an experiment with one of the class members who would go very deeply into the hypnotic state. And this person was told that they were going to take a lit cigarette and burn his hand with this lit cigarette. Of course, they did not use the lit cigarette. Instead, they used the eraser end of a pencil. They touched his hand with the eraser end of the pencil, and immediately a welt formed on his hand. And that got my attention in terms of how how the body can respond to messages that are not on the conscious level. So this person was told one thing and their unconscious believed it, in quotes. And this to me happens with all kinds of situations. One of the stories that I was very taken by, in 1989, I met my wife, my beloved wife, Nell, at a Bernie Siegel workshop. And Bernie Siegel is an oncologist, surgeon, who wrote a book called Love, Love, Medicine, and Miracles. And the story that he shared, which totally, again, brought home that connection to emotions affecting physical health. He went to visit one of his patients who was was told she only had a few weeks to live. It was in stage 4 cancer. And Bernie asked her how she was doing with everything, and she said she was pretty resigned to the situation. And he said to her, "If is there anything, any person you need to complete with, since you don't have much time?" And she said, "Well, I'm still really furious at my husband for so many things." And Bernie said, "Well, you have nothing to lose. Why don't you let him know what you're feeling?" So she did. Lo and, lo and behold, the cancer went away completely. And these kinds of things always get my attention. On a physical level, some of the information I've studied talks about how how the pH level of the body affects everything. So that when we're in uh, an acid state, for the sweet spot is about 7 on the pH scale, and when we're in very difficult emotions, the pH level, even if we're eating the best food in the world, can drop down, way down into lower numbers where the body becomes challenged. So when we bring in that good energy of clearing the emotions, the body starts to rebalance and become whole again. So these are a few of the examples in my experience that really got my attention. The There's another reference I'd like to bring in, which I've just come across more recently, which I'm thrilled about, and it's from a book by Dr. David Hawkins called Map of Consciousness. And so he speaks about that different emotions have different vibrational rates. And this is spoken about in the literature from various teachers I've studied, where our vibratory rate gets brighter as we inhabit more positive emotions. So David Hawkins says that on the low end of the scale, the lowest emotion is shame. And I have a friend who was shamed incessantly as a child, who still, he's about my age, still deals with it, and in a very positive way. But these are things that challenge the body. Other things, so he gives shame a rating of 20, guilt a rating of 30, fear a rating of 100, pride 175. And he says that the borderline where we move into positive emotions is courage, which is a vibratory rate of 200, acceptance 350, love 500, joy 540, peace 600. So when we work with these emotions, shame, guilt, fear, we are bringing ourselves some of the best medicine that we can. It's from where I sit, a clear relationship between those emotions being remembered to our fullness of consciousness. Katie, I know that you've been gifted with a wonderful transformation of of your physical challenges. I wonder if you'd share for a moment about yours.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right along that scale on the emotional. I can look back and um, see that sequence, because from before I was born, there was shame. You know, there was a lot of shame in my extended family about um, the fact that my mother got pregnant when she was 17 and they were not married, and that's why they got married. And then there was, yeah, I could feel my mother's blame of me, that somehow it was whatever was bad in her life was my fault. And there was a lot of fear. My dad was violent with my mom, and really quite emotionally abusive until he transformed later and became the most loving grandfather to my daughter that one could imagine. It just was adorable. Um, but going through all of those things, I know had a huge were huge precipitory factors for the physical challenges that I went through and still go through some. I mean, I'm a work in progress, but Yeah, I mean, and people who have the diagnosis that I was given was myalgic encephalomyelitis, which is used to be known as chronic fatigue syndrome. In Western medicine, that's a life sentence. There's a, it is repeatedly said that there is no cure. You can manage some symptoms, but don't think that you're going to get better. And I just didn't believe that. I came to a point of acceptance about it, and somehow by grace, I got the message that this is for my highest good. I am being healed, and um, and eventually I met Dr. Clint, who told me that it was possible to heal, and I believed him, and I did what he said, and um, and here I am. And I'm part of support groups for people with ME. And boy, you touch on this emotional stuff, people get so angry because it's so sensitive.
Mhm.
But it's true. I mean, I know in my all of my being that it's true, and that's why I keep being part of this community and keep coming back, because this is where the vibration of love and connection is so strong that my state of being has changed dramatically. And then I come here and I get like a boost, a big infusion, and joy. Joy happens here. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk.
You're more than welcome, Katie. You're always such an inspiration for us. And Katie's gone from, can I say, a wheelchair existence for a while
Yes,
to doing 6 mile
yes.
hikes.
3 years in a
And,
wheelchair.
uh, and I mean, what more can you say? You're an example to us, an inspiration. Thank you, Katie. Um, I'd like to read a little
Yay,
bit.
Katie! Woo!
Yes. I'd like to read a little Charlie Goldsmith here regarding what you just said about people getting angry about the emotion component in this picture. Our deep buried emotions can send distorted messages telling us, I am worthless, I am unforgivable, I'm a bad person. And they're likely the very things you've spent years, maybe a lifetime, trying to disprove or run from or sequester from your current life. By finding the courage to state its message, which is rooted in past trauma, we're finally offering presence and accepted to that split part and its past experience. So we're remembering ourselves. I had another example of, Katie, you want to say one other thing?
Yeah, I do. That the forgive and forget Marma has been extraordinarily helpful, and the
Mhm.
self-love, that
Self-love.
self-love Marma.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And these are, of course, handed down for the last 2,500 years or so from these very loving masters of the Siddha Veda lineage of service.
Jerem,
So,
can Katie lead us
okay,
to self-love right now in the self-love Marma?
sure, sounds good.
Katie, can you lead us in that?
Yes, ma'am. So the self-love Marma, I think many of you know, is your right earlobe with your thumb behind, supporting your index finger, and you squeeze 6 times, and you can either have nothing that you're saying, or you can say, I love myself, or in my case, Katie, I love you 6 times. And then very good. Let's do the very good over your heart on the left side, on your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very good.
Great. Thank you,
Jerem,
Katie.
Jerem, can
Yes.
I interrupt also? Katie just brought in kind of adding what might be like a mantra, with our marma. And so
Mhm.
I just wanted to share what something that I do for the forgive and let go. The 6 points I do: I forgive, I let go. So
Mm.
just repeat that. And I just made one up here that's like, I love me. Yes, I do. Just something fun, something that's functional, and there is a message, and that's the thing. You're talking to your subconscious. So give your subconscious the good message. So thanks.
Beautiful, Joe. Thank you so much. So good. Um, another example, and interestingly, this falls right in the self-love category. In my bodywork practice, here, this is probably close to 40 years ago. I had a client come in early in my practice who was one of those people that kind of had lightning bolts coming out of their head, and she proceeded to tell me that she was wheelchair bound for 13 years and that she was sitting there one day kind of feeling sorry for herself, and she had a download, a message come through her saying, just love your legs, just send love into your legs, use your hands and send love into your legs. And she said, well, I have nothing to lose here. And she started doing that, and it took maybe I think she said a month or two before she started feeling some tingling in her legs. 6 months before they were all noticeably palpable. And long story short, she became an aerobics instructor. So self-love, pretty good medicine. And, and the thing I like about it, there's no copay, nothing like that. So, okay. Sorry, Cornelia?
Yeah, I would like to kind of speak to something that I learned in my training as a dancer. And for me, that was one of the biggest aha moments in my life, that we are actually in control, or we can be in control over our emotions, because emotions often arise in us when we have a certain thinking pattern. And I will just briefly share what we did in this exercise. We were asked to pretend to be actors. And as an actor, you have to emit certain emotions to show. So we were asked to actually go into our memory to bring up situation where we felt really angry. And so they had to kind of, okay, think of something when you felt angry. And then when we kind of had it, okay, think of something else. And then something very interesting happens in the brain. The moment you start to go into these emotions, actually more and more situations come up in your mind when you felt angry. So there is actually really a flood of memories showing up in your brain from situations when you felt angry. And what was really interesting is that all of us were showing all these kind of physical um, signs of being angry, like people clenching their fists, stomping through the room, and really living out that kind of anger. And then our teacher said, okay, clapped in his hand, said, go to another place in the room, pick another spot, and now bring up the emotion or some memories of when you were the happiest in your life. And we all did. And within a minute, all of us were happy. We were singing, we were dancing, we were showing all these kind of emotions. And again, the same exercise going into when were you happy? Okay, what else? Was there another emotion of time when you felt happy? And we all could kind of change within a minute, coming from deepest anger into joy that showed me that I'm in control of my emotions. I can choose what I'm thinking about and what I'm actually want to present to the outside. If I am angry and often enough we go deeper and deeper and it goes for all the emotions, instead of following that path down the rabbit hole, we can actually choose to think of something else and change, as you said, this vibrational frequency in our body by thinking of something happen. That's also the best way to get out of depression. If you have somebody who's really down, ask them to share something funny, something happy with you, and start feeding that instead of going down with them into the rabbit hole of depression. So that is my experience from a dance workshop. And I've never forgotten this lesson, that I'm in control of my emotions.
Mm. So important, Cornelia. Just such a simple shift of awareness that, can change your entire experience.
Yeah.
Wonderful sharing. I really appreciate that. I'd like to take one more comment from Esther, and then we have a song I'd like to share, which is a fun thing. So, Esther.
Yay. Well, Cornelia, we're really on the same mode here because I'd like to share the happiness for no reason, Marma. And
Mm.
then, if it's all right with you, I'd love us to shift into laughter for no reason and see how contagious that is and what that does to elevate our way of feeling. So, the Morma, happiness for no reason, you take both your hands, and instead of clapping them flat, you cup them a little bit so that you get a really great noise. And what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 sixes. You know, we always do the Mormas in the 6. We do it 3 times, and then we will grasp our hands as 6 to kind of seal it, okay? So, happiness for no reason, just because we choose it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Woo! Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just for the joy of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because we love to be joyful and happy. And then squeeze, 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 squeeze. Ha ha ha! It's so easy. Come on. Laugh, laugh, laugh. Maybe we could just take off the audio for a minute and have our laughter intermingle, okay? So contagious, so easy to dispel the spell. We're not victims to all those feelings. Grief has its place and a role, but gosh, we've been just brainwashed to think that we don't have that capacity to, like Cornelia said, to just go to another corner of the room, to not even move, sit in the same seat and clap your hands for no reason and laugh. Hallelujah.
Thank you so much, Esther. If you want to get into a higher vibrational state, just spend some time with my dear sister Esther. She's a fountain of light. So at this moment, I'd
Mirror.
I'd like to share the song, Rodell, if you would bring that up, please. So this is the sixth song for the collection number 4. So we're taking a little hiatus from the Love Music and Poetry Project just because of life circumstances. But I got a request recently. My dear daughter Jamie is godmother to a beautiful little boy whose name is Rebel. He's 6 years old and he's never had a dad. And so his mom, Jessie, wrote lyrics for a lullaby for him and asked if I would put it to music, which I felt was just a wonderful, sweet request, and I was more than happy uh, to spend some time with it. And Jamie did a vocal along with it on her end of the picture. So if are Jamie and Rebel out there on the call today? I'm not sure. If you are, just give a shout. They said they might make it, but I guess not. Okay, well, this is sending this out to Rebel and Jesse and Jamie and to all the 6-year-old parts of ourselves that need a lullaby.
4. Good night, my rebel. Close your eyes under the soft and quiet skies. Penguin draggy, freckles too, all go to sleep right next to you. If you should wonder as you dream, we're bound beyond what life can seem. You are our light, our shining star, carried with us both near and far. You're kind and sweet, you're brave and smart. Magic lives right inside your heart. Rest now, my love, the night is deep. We're here beside you as you sleep. We love you past the sea and sun. Good night, our little precious one. Close your eyes, dear rebel dear. Dream sweet, you know we're always right here.
Thank you, Rodell. Yeah, so emotions are a gift to us. And if we can honor even the really difficult ones, we can transform in amazing ways. Shifra, we have a little time left if you'd like to share.
Yeah, I thought it was a beautiful call. You have a lovely spirit. I love listening to everybody. I guess my and I've had a lot of healing around anger. And I just wonder about a couple of things. One is sometimes it works, like Cornelia was saying, to switch, but sometimes when like if somebody's really in a bad place, sometimes they're not able to just go to a happy place. I believe what she said, and I think that's beautiful. But sometimes it doesn't always like work in the moment. And I also wonder if something is deeply held, what you suggest. And I think part of my concern is when you have things that not just from the past, but that are happening in the present. And when you want to be a caring person because you see how things are going in our country and in the world, and you don't want to go down because of that, but you want to keep your spirit up, but you also want to do what you can to not close your eyes. And so I'm just wondering how you get that balance, you know, in your
This is a
in your heart and in your being, you know, like
good questions, Shifra. Good questions. And I'd like to Vinay, are you still on the call? Is Vinay there?
Yes, Mr. Jerem, I'm here.
Yes. Do you have any response to Shifra's question about how to stay, my words, not hers, in her heart, basically, when she's challenged with the life that she's seeing around her that's difficult?
Yeah. Again, I would like to share the example of the Dr. Naram. That those who knows Dr. Naram very closely, I believe Dr. Steve knows very well. And he has a lot of challenges in his mind. But in his life, 2, 3 times people from the different region, they took away the business of the Dr. Naram. But Dr. Naram stayed always positive and he kept in his mind one thing, that my master will never do injustice to me. And he stayed positive. Second thing, what again I would like to bring to the notice was my spiritual master, His Holiness Hariprasad Swamiji used to say, and Dr. Steve knows that Her Holiness Saima also used to say the same thing, that believe in your master, whomsoever you follow, that they will never do injustice. At some place we feel like they think that we are not getting enough justice from, but that is again our master wants to take us to the some different level. That's why all the episodes or the situation happens in our life. But again and again, it is in our life, it is important that we should stay positive. Because I work with Her Holiness Saima also when she used to come to the Ayush Shakti and I used to serve her. And I learned these things from her, all these things. And of course, my spiritual master, Dr. Naram. Dr. Clint, if we take the example of the Dr. Clint, he also has gone through the many things in his life, but he stayed positive. He believed in the lineage. He believed in the power, Almighty God, that no matter what happens in the life, it is better for us. And if we keep ourselves that way positive, definitely life will lead us to the different zone and it will definitely get a result what we are looking for. I hope I have understood that question of Shifra and I am able to answer that point. Thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you so much, Vinay. Thank you.
if I can just say one piece, it's partly it's personal, but when there are larger forces going on, and it's not just my business collapsed, my partner left me, I got sick. You know, when I see a larger social order, where you know innocent people are being like murdered, as in Minnesota, for example, it's affecting us. I mean, I'm not here to discuss politics, but it just breaks my heart to see hardworking people who keep this country going, you know, treated like, you know, in a criminal fashion. And I'm not
Shifra,
saying the terms enough. I'm just
I'd like
simply
to,
saying, how
I'd
do
like
we
to
do
interrupt for a
this
second,
when
Shifra.
the social order is so
I'd,
difficult? That's my
I'd like
question.
I'd like to interrupt for a second, Shifra.
Okay.
So, yes, your heart is broken, and I think that is your doorway into the wholeness, because
Okay.
we all have our hearts broken at times, and this is a time where many, many people have their hearts broken.
Right.
And
And
and and thank you for bringing that up. And
Yeah. And
I
I'm in a
wish you soothing for your heart.
better, and I'm in a
We
better
do
place
need to
than I've
end now.
been.
Yeah, we
And
do
I'm
need
in a
to end
better
now, Jeff.
place than I've been
Yeah.
before. I'm not in a bad
Yes.
place.
Mr. Jerem, 1 minute.
Okay.
Shifra, is it okay if I'll request to the person who's doing the breakout
Okay.
room and we can stay in the same breakout room and I
Okay.
can answer
Sounds
over
good.
there? Will it be
Yeah.
okay?
Mhm.
Thank you so much,
Right.
Shifra. Appreciate it.
Thank
Right.
you, Vinay. Thank you so
Right.
much. Yes. So thank you all for so much beautiful input and participation today. And as we slowly move into the breakout room, we'll do our traditional ancient secrets salute. And if you unmute, and we can all say, I love you, and I'm with you.
And I'm with you. I love you.
I
And
love
I'm
you,
with
and
you.
I'm
I
with
love
you.
you and I'm with
love
you.
you.
And I am
Love
with
you,
you.
and I'm with
I
you.
love you, and
And
I'm
I'm
with you.
with
I
you.
love you,
You
and
and
I'm
I'm
with
with
you.
you.
I love you, and I'm
And
with
I'm
you.
with
I
you.
love you, and I'm with
Jerem,
You
you.
and
thank
I
you,
am
I
with
love
Vinay.
you, and
you.
I'm with you. I love you,
You
and
and I
I'm
am
with
with
you. I
Love you, and
love
I'm
you.
you,
with
and I'm
you.
with
And
you.
I'm
I
with
love
Love you and
you.
I'm
you,
with
and I'm
you.
with you. I
Love
love
you, and
you,
I'm
and
with
I'm
Love
you.
you
with
and I am
you.
with
Wonderful,
you.
I
Jerem.
love
Thank
you,
you.
and I'm
Love you and I am with you.
with
I
you.
love you and I'm with
I
you.
love you, and I'm with
I
you.
love you and I am with
I
you.
love